Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, May 9th, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Vincentians are being encouraged to use mediation more to resolve disputes and other problems rather than going through the court system as part of efforts to educate and inform persons on what mediation is and how it can be utilized. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court today launched its mediation public awareness campaign at the National Insurance Services Conference Room. The Mediation Committee in SVG, headed by Justice Esco Henry, is charged with executing the awareness campaign locally. Delivering the feature address at today's launching ceremony, Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Dame Janice Pereira, said that not all issues have to be solved and resolved in the courts, and that mediation should always be the first course of action.
Mediation, as Dr. Friday indicated, is something that causes parties to have a win-win situation. We hear it as well, where parties say, once the judge says it, then I am happy with it. Why should a third party tell you what you should be happy with? What about the power that is in your hands to determine the best solution for the problem? And so that is part of the message that I think that we need to get out in relation to the public campaign that we are launching. That power that resides in each party to fashion the solution to their problems.
According to the Chief Justice, not much has been done to promote mediation, hence not many persons utilize the service. Justice of Appeal Gertel Tom said mediators have a responsibility to earn the public's trust and confidence in the system.
At the end of the campaign, the public would have had a very good understanding of the mediation process and the many benefits of mediation. Also, and critically, that they will have confidence and trust in the mediation process, and that more persons would seek to utilize this method to settle their differences.
The Judicial Reform and Institutional Strengthening Jurist Project is funding SVG's Mediation Committee's awareness campaign. Director of the Jurist Project, Gloria Richards-Johnson, said mediation in other CARICOM countries has been successful, and she is hoping for the same response here in SVG.
The justice system in each participating country. We believe that such an inclusive approach allows participants to identify their respective priorities for judicial reform, and by consulting stakeholders, the Jurist Project gives voice to the concerns and needs. The initiatives that are funded as a result of this process not only respond to the priorities that are identified, but also have the support and involvement of the stakeholders.
Meanwhile, 11 trained mediators were appointed to join the court-connected mediators here. They received their certification today at the launch of the Mediation Awareness Campaign. Leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, gave his support to mediation, a method he said need to be pursued more in SVG.
It seems to me that we will have to be creative to try to break through the stereotype of how the court system works, how litigation functions, how pursuing your just cause in court, no matter best, however, and hence increasing popularity when the parties are not just the lawyers, are involved in working out the solutions to their disputes. With mediation, there is a better chance that contending parties can resolve their problems themselves with the help of the mediator without becoming lifelong enemies. That's better for the parties and certainly better for society.
Representing the Prime Minister at the event was Attorney General John DeMartin, who agreed that the utilization of mediation will benefit all parties involved in conflict.
Is not so aware of what mediation can do for them. As we mature as a society, mediation is one of those concepts that would help us realize that maturity, because it is one way that you can deal with your disputes, your issues, one-on-one, seeing the entire dispute holistically by listening to each other, discussing the matter with each other, and coming to a common understanding of what is the real cause of the problem.
Since 2002, over 290 persons have been trained as mediators here in SVG. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Mediation Awareness Campaign will include town hall meetings, meetings with churches and other non-governmental organizations, as well as school sessions. Members of Parliament on both sides of the House took the opportunity today to pay tribute to the late John Horne, who was laid to rest last Friday. Horne served as Member of Parliament for West Kingstown under the then New Democratic Party administration for 17 years. Horne was described as a man who loved and was loved by the people, and one who served as a Member of Parliament with distinction. Several members on the government side of the House highlighted some of the unique qualities Horne possessed.
Well, for 17 years. But it is important as to what you have been doing for the other years. And I think that is why we have seen such an outpouring of sympathy for John Horne and his family, because he was engaged in a wide range of things before he got involved in politics. And after he left active politics, he continued to participate in a range of national and community activities.
I can recall, Mr. Speaker, as a Form 4 student, we were having a camp at the Richmond Vale Academy, and we were given forms to receive sponsorship. And I recall going to his office with another friend, another classmate. He sat us down and spoke to us for close to an hour about the importance of education. And at the end of it, he said, I will take care of the entire fee for the camp.
He was an anchor on the literary scene, he was an anchor on the cultural scene. We know of his involvement in Carnival and the other activities, social activities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, we know about his contribution to banking, and yes, to media also, to business, and other areas of endeavors that Vincentians find themselves in. I wish his family all the best as we express our condolences from the Ministry of Education. And he was, of course, a Minister of Education for quite some time. And, of course, by extension, the government of St. Vincent.
Members on the opposition bench also shared fond memories of Horne.
He was the Minister of Culture, and the support that we got from him was really memorable. I also remember when I was still in school, I think it was, the performance of the Mikado and the Gondoliers by the Light Operatic Group. It really impacted me personally, and I think that is what pushed me towards my love and my involvement in the performing arts, and the performance of John Clark Horne stands out.
Recall very vividly during my years with the National Youth Council of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and in particular at the time when the NYC put in place a National Student Council, and there was a contingent of us was assigned to go to various schools to try to understand what were the difficulties facing students at the respective schools island-wide. And very often we had to either interact with Mr. Horne as Minister of Education, or, Mr. Speaker, there are times when he himself opted to travel along with us to be part of some of these discussions and consultations. We have lost a humble giant in Alexander John Clark Horne, and Mr. Speaker, may his soul rest in peace.
I recall an incident
many moons ago in North Leeward. He was part of a Masters basketball team that came to challenge Northern Boys, who was back then we control basketball in SVG. And I recall there was some rain earlier, and there was some spots on the court, some wet spots. So there I was, as the coach of my team, trying to get the court ready by mopping up the spots. And he came and he said, do you have a next mop? And I said, no. And he said, well, all right, give me the mop and you go and see your team warm up. And we were up in again, saying, you know, what was so striking, when I went to my team, the guy said, wait, but that's not the Minister of Education. And that goes to show how down he was, while he was also a gentleman. To his families, my deepest sympathies.
The amnesty period for traditional marijuana cultivators who will be getting into the medical marijuana industry is expected to commence on June 3rd. The Cannabis Cultivation Amnesty Act 2018 serves to transition illegal cannabis farmers who have been cultivating and trading cannabis before the passage of the law to a legal status as licensed cultivators of medicinal cannabis. Given an update in Parliament today on the process, Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar said though the bill was passed in 2018, there are a few issues which need to be sorted out.
They are working on the framework, the practical framework as to how it will function. The cannabis which is to be received would have to be processed, and we have to ensure that the facilities are there in place to receive the cannabis. And just by the way, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to add up an E, but the issue of banking is another critical issue which definitely slowing down the pace at which we move. Further, Mr. Speaker, security companies which will be engaged in the movement of the commodity, and we were able to set up the headquarters for the authority about a month ago. So all those things had to be in place first, but we are looking at before June 3rd.
Answering the question relating to the allocation of lands to farmers, Minister Caesar said the Medicinal Cannabis Authority will have access to a land bank which will provide the crucial factor of production, and that farmers will be given access to privately leased and crown lands.
The bank will not be buying your land. What they will do is that when persons come to find out where they can grow cannabis, the land bank persons will say, well, Mr. John from Leyu came here and he has 100 acres of land in Palmis. This is his contact number. Contact him. Of course, I am aware that persons are already leasing lands and persons are purchasing lands. And up to yesterday, it was noted at the level of the cabinet that the land bank at the authority will not only be addressing lands from persons in the private sector, but that crown lands which will become available, when they become available, will be deposited in the land bank. And I'll tell you why it's very important to put it in the land bank. Because it gives everybody an equal chance to go to the land bank and to apply. And that is how we are sorting out the issue of the lands and the land bank.
Speaking in relation to the licensing arrangements, Minister Caesar said traditional cultivators of marijuana will be exempted from paying a license fee.
Speaker, the cost to the traditional cultivator is $100 for the application fee. And there is no cost for the license fee. I want to repeat that, because somewhere I heard somebody saying that the traditional cultivator will not be able to be in a position to pay the exorbitant license fees which are being charged. Well, there And this was discussed. I mean, this is not me coming up with this. I'm not taking any profit for this. The honorable member for North Leeward was a part of the committee that decided that there wasn't supposed to be a cost for the first 2 years. So the traditional cultivator will not be paying a license fee for the first 2 years, and that could be extended. But he has to pay $100, which is non-refundable for the application fee.
Government has signed a contract with the K Group Electric of SVG for the rehabilitation of the Chateaubelair jetty. The contract, worth $5,246,541 Eastern Caribbean dollars and 8 cents, was signed on April 29th. The work is funded by the European Union and is managed through the World Bank-funded Regional Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, the RDVRP. A release from the Agency for Public Information said the new facility will accommodate roll-on, roll-off ships, yachts, and smaller boats used by fishermen and pleasure craft. The new jetty is expected to provide improved access in times of emergencies to the North Leeward area, as well as improve access to landings by fishers and yachts. The rehabilitation work on the jetty is expected to commence on June 3rd this year, with the mobilization of the contractor's resources and physical work beginning with the demolition of the existing failed jetty in the coming weeks. The API says residents of Chateaubelair will experience some movement of heavy equipment in the area and are asked to exercise caution during the construction of the new jetty, which is expected to be completed over a 12-month period. The activities for Fisherman's Day 2019 will be launched here tomorrow, Friday, May 10th. The launching event will take place in the yard of the Agriculture Input Warehouse Kingston Fish Market, commencing at 10 a.m. This is the 44th year of celebrations of Fisherman's Day activities, which will be held under the theme, Climate Change Affects the Ocean, Fish Responsibly to Sustain the Industry, with the slogan, We Fish It, You Dish It. The Fisherman's Day Organizing Committee says the theme was selected because climate change is a serious threat facing all islands in the Caribbean, and that over the past decade, ocean warming has disrupted critical fisheries worldwide. Hence, they are playing their role in raising awareness on the issue. The month-long Fisherman's Day activities will culminate on Whit Monday, June 10th, 2019. Welcome to Carnival Beat. Telecommunications company Flow SVG Limited last evening launched its Carnival promotion at its headquarters in capital Kingstown. The company continues to maintain its platinum sponsorship status for Vincy Mas. Chief Executive Officer of the Carnival Development Corporation, Ricky Adams, said Flow is a valued partner to the CDC and Vincy Mas. He said this year's festival is going to be a bundle of energy and that he has no doubt Flow will continue to do its part to showcase the Vincy culture to the world. Adams used the opportunity to announce that this year there will be no pay-per-view of the Miss SVG pageant on mainland St. Vincent. He said the decision was a tough one but had to be done as a way of encouraging more persons to come to the Victoria Park to support the contestants.
So what happened is we're going to try it this year and see what happens. Depends on how that goes, then we'll see how it affects the other shows. But we really think that it's important when the young ladies put on the show that they do at Victoria Park, that there are people there to cheer them on, there are people there to participate, there are people there who make them feel good. It really is hard going on stage and speaking to an empty audience. So that is the reason for us doing it this year. We're trying it, we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't have any impact on the gates, then maybe we'll revisit it. But it's a tough decision. But
the Miss SVG pageant is the first major event of the Vincy Mas calendar of activities, which will be held on June 1st, 2019. In Carnival Beat this evening, we continue to highlight new and upcoming soca artists and those who have been making their mark in the music industry. Keith Charles, better known as Grabber Finesse, has been a busy man, and for this Carnival season he will be releasing some 13 songs. Charles, who hails from Barley, has also been working along with new artists to get their feet wet in the industry. In an interview with our news team, Child said his aim is to help other talented youngsters in SVG create a name for themselves in the industry.
After all this, I just want to see the country developing, the music industry develop. That the youths them now could come and have a job, like as an entrepreneur now, just by singing and getting a little income now. Because we don't really have much income coming in, so we could use music as an income, as a way of working. Because music is a way of working, it's a business, you know. So that is the main focus. But the challenges I'm facing is the challenges is not like the industry is kind of hard getting the music outside. The music play inside, but it's hard getting the music outside. So that's basically the challenge. Sometimes I have to be emailing the DJs every day, trying to contact DJs on WhatsApp and Facebook, and just trying to get my music out there now. That would be my hardest challenge, is get my music out there to other radio stations and other countries and things.
Shamika Providence, better known on social media and in the music industry as Peaches, thanked Charles for his support and encouraged the youths in SVG to set goals and work towards them.
Parents have control of their kids, so those who have control, keep it up, and those who don't have control, listen to your parents and keep your head on, because your parents always know best, they always want best for you. And as young ladies nowadays, you know, sometimes they had a little boyfriend. Well, yes, nothing is wrong with having a boyfriend, but keep on your head. If you're having sex, use protection. Don't look for no kid at this moment. If you're in school, stay in school. Try to reach the Form 5, try to reach the college. Do something with your life, because I don't want to see no young girl nowadays. A lot of things going on right now, and I don't really want to see no young girl in school making the same set of mistakes that I made. So my advice to the girls and the boys is to keep their head up. Don't follow bad company, study them book, and be successful in life.